Hey everybody, I'm super excited to talk to you about these headphones today. This is a review for the Lasmex L-85, and the reason I'm so excited, we have a problem. And the problem is that the Philips SHP9500S and 9500, they don't exist anymore. They're not made anymore. Along with all of the other Philips hi-fi products, word is that whoever was making the Philips hi-fi headphone line doesn't exist anymore, or at least their contract ended with Philips. So all of the Philips headphones, including the everything from the Fidelio line down to the SHP9500S, they're no longer being made. And if you don't know about the SHP9500S, they're pretty much the best budget headphones that you could get. And a lot of times you see them as low as $50, but even at $75, they're just insane. They're really, really great. They're open back headphones. They take a standard 3.5mm connection, so you can use a V-Moto Boom Pro with them. They take to power really well, and they're just fantastic. There's not a decent there's not a decent open back headphone in that price segment right now, and I've been searching for one for a little while, as have many others, and we just haven't found one. However, I think the Lasmex L-85, I think it'll fit a lot of the needs in that price segment. And although I don't think it sounds as good as the SHP9500S, it's pretty close. It's close to fitting the bill, at least. So we'll talk about all that. And for now, let's get to opening these. And I put them back in the box so I can do a little unboxing and show you, how they come. The package is super nice, and it's all black. It's got this like clear window in the front, and silver Lasmex in the back, and nothing on the sides. On the top, it's got a couple stickers, and I'll just read them off to you because the camera's not going to pick them up. It says, "Need support. Email us your issue and order number at lasmexaudio@hotmail.com." And it just says, there's typical barcode stuff. So it's kind of interesting that it says hotmail.com, but it is what it is. So let me try to get these out of the box. The box is, it's not held on by anything, and it's not like, it doesn't use a sticker or anything to keep it closed. It's just, the lid just comes off in one big piece. Then inside you have your headphones and a little box with cables in it. And here are the headphones, and we'll get to the nitty-gritty on these in a little bit. They're super awesome looking, at least, and we'll talk about all that. And one of the most interesting things, as I drop stuff, the accessories package is actually pretty comprehensive, and I really like it. You get a 1/4-inch adapter, standard fare, and it's a screw-on type, so it screws onto one of the cables. You get a 3.5mm cable with a line mic. You can see the box there, and it also has like a single button, so it's good for like play, pause, and stuff like that. But there's no volume control, so I guess it's going to depend on your device and what they support. But so you have your standard 3.5 cable, and then you have a super long 3.5 cable, which is a little bit thicker, and it's rubberized, where the other one's kind of just a smooth cable. This one's got even has protected ends, which, I mean, not a big deal. And then a Lasmex Velcro strap. But I don't know how long this cable is. I think it says in the manual how long it is, and you can check out, of course, in the Amazon specifications, but it's pretty long. And I don't like to use those cables, so it's going to stay in the box for now, but for what I can tell, it's not too bad. It's probably not going to straighten out too well, so again, just getting an aftermarket cable, it's not a big deal. But that's pretty nice. And then, last thing you get a Lasmex bag. And geez, it looks like Vanta black on my camera. I don't know if that's gonna come through YouTube or not, but it's like velour, and I mean it feels like, I don't know, it's nice. It has a little Lasmex tag on it. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty nice, especially for the cost of these headphones. And I didn't mention that yet, but these are right now on Amazon at the time of filming. They're $77 on Amazon plus 20% off if you clip a coupon before you check out. So in the link in the description below, you can just click on them, and then right below the price, it'll say plus 20% off clip coupon. So you just hit the little checkbox and then you hit add to cart. So you get 20% off that. So right around 60 bucks, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending, and tax, of course, but 60 bucks gets you a very, very interesting headphone. I think the least interesting part of it is the sound. However, there's a lot of other things that are going for it that I even like more than the SHP9500S. And let me see if I have those around, actually. They're not within reach, so I might do a little bit of a comparison video later with the SHP9500S since they're kind of in the same class. So what you do get, let's get to the headphone part, which is what everyone's here for. What you do get is a pretty much all metal construction headphone, and all of these silver parts that you see are metal. And from what I can tell, it's machined or cast aluminum. I don't believe it's machined. I think it's cast, but honestly, it doesn't really matter at this price range. And the grill right here, hopefully that's coming through in the camera. The grill right there is steel, and it says so in the manual. The casting on the aluminum is very, very good. There's no seams that I can tell. I can see. And it's very smooth, very shiny. It's not brushed or anything like that. There's no creaks. Very, very good adjustment. Very firm. It doesn't feel like it's going to wear out. You can see there's the adjustment notches right on the inside. Sorry, I'm trying to work with my camera focus here. And it's, yeah, I mean, they're pretty well built. There's a lot of padding on the underside of the headband, and there's a little bit on the top, but not that touches anything, so it doesn't really matter. And you have the right and left marked on the outside, and what's cool about that is when you're wearing them, or if someone's looking at them, you actually don't see the right and left because it's angled down, and just kind of the way it sits, you really won't see it unless you kind of tilt it up and look at it. So it's very they're very, very unassuming, and they honestly look like almost knockoff Fidelio X1s because they have the steel grille and the circular shape, but they're tiny. And these are like a weird cross between Status Audio CB1s and Fidelio, or Philips Fidelio X1s. And they say that they're open back, but really they're kind of semi-open. You don't get the sound leakage that you get with the SHP9500Ss or Sennheiser 600s or anything that's like fully open. You do get some sound leakage, but not quite that much. And they don't really sound open. They have the performance of a closed headphone. If you're listening at lower volumes, you can definitely hear things around you. So if someone's talking to you or someone calls your name, if you're at work or something like that, you know, you can hear them, especially at medium to lower volumes. But they have the sort of sound signature and performance of a closed headphone. And to me, they sound a little bit like Status Audio CB1s. They could be using the same driver. Unfortunately, my Status Audio CB1s are out on loan right now, so I can't really compare that. But from what I remember, they sound pretty similar. And we'll get to sound at the last part of the video, but anyway, so I'm just really, really pleased with the way that these feel, and stretching them out, there's no creaking, nothing like that. They do fold on both ways. They're not fold, but they do, like the cups do flip. and the yokes are very, very thick, very, very well made. I'm just kind of perplexed, really. I don't know where you can get a metal headphone like this for 60, let's call it $62. So putting them on, I only have them, I have a pretty big head and it's pretty wide. So I can hear myself talk just fine. It's a little bit muffled. Like I said, it's a semi-open headphone. Sort of like the, I can't remember the model number. But anyway, it's kind of like right in between a closed and an open headphone. And there's plenty of room in the ear pads for my fairly large ears. You're not going to be able to change these pads very easily. You can take them off, and it does have that sort of rotation pad, you know, like you can put the pads on just by rotating them on. It has that like the CB1s, but the pad attachment is very, very shallow. So fitting on aftermarket pads such as like the Brainwaves Round, they do appear to fit, but the skirting on the Brainwaves Round is much too large, so you'd have to cut that down a little bit. And honestly, since these are open or semi-open, a good set of velour pads would be nice, because these are pleather. They're not memory foam. You can see they're pretty quick to come back, but they are very thick. So as you can see, I'm putting my finger in. It's what Zeus would say. It's about a 2-knuckle, and you know, they're pretty comfortable. Honestly, a lot better than what I would expect for something like this. And these feel like real headphones. They look really, really good, and they feel supernatural. Not supernatural. They feel very natural and very comfortable. And I was wearing them around the house for about an hour and a half earlier, and really no comfort complaints or anything like that. And of course, because they are pleather pads, you are going to get a little bit warm in the ears. And since these are gaming headphones, and what I'm going to be suggesting them for mostly is, you know, gaming applications and things like that, especially with the Boom Pro. You can use the Boom Pro because it's got a 3.5. Just consider that, you know, they have pleather pads, so in longer sessions you may get a little warm. You may need to take a little break or something like that. Just take them off for a few minutes. But as far as gaming performance, they're really, really good. The bass is very present. Mids are clear. The highs are a little sibilant and can be a little bit much sometimes. So just watch your volume in certain things, and you do a little bit of testing before you really get to cranking on whatever game you're playing. But honestly, I would say that as far as $100 headphones go, they sound about average or a little bit above average. I'm not going to praise them for being like the headphone of the year or anything like that as far as sound goes. They're more than competent, but not stellar. And honestly, for $66 or $62 or whatever it is, let's call it under $70, there's not really much more you could ask for. And the SHP9500S was a knockout hit. And unfortunately, I don't think that there's really much that's going to be able to touch that, at least for a while. So I think setting that bar so high with those headphones it's not really fair, to be honest, because those are $50 and they're fantastic and everyone loves them for the most part, except for DMS. He doesn't really like those. But I wouldn't expect SHP9500S performance sound-wise out of these. Really, what these need to do is they need to be cheap and they need to be above average and well built, and they are all of those things. Do they sound good in music? Yes. And my fiance was, you know, running around with these around the house, dancing and stuff with like a little Bluetooth adapter, and she was having fun. So if this is a good pair of headphones, that's really all that matters, especially in this price point. If you're an audiophile and you're looking for something more, I totally get it. But if you're looking for a good gaming headset, a decent headset for music and day-to-day performance, and something that honestly I think they're almost worth it for the looks alone. I mean, where are you going to get a headphone that looks like this for $66 or under $70? It's just not going to happen. You're not going to get anything like that. And I'm excited to use these. I want to use them. They're heavy as shit too. Like, there's a lot of weight here. I can't imagine they would break. Super awesome for on the go. You can still hear things around you. They don't leak sound too much. But you know, I mean, it does if you're listening at really loud volumes and stuff like that. But I don't really have a whole lot to say about the sound. I mean, they sound okay and they take to power okay, but I wouldn't expect the most amazing sound out of them. I will say, however, they sound better than the AKG K7XX from Astrop, because as you might know, I really don't like them, and I was very harsh towards the way that they sounded. So I would totally buy 3 pairs of these instead of buying 1 pair of those AKGs. I mean, these things are so cool. I just want to put them back on my head again. They're awesome. And here's how they look with the V-Moto Boom Pro. If I can find the jack there. They look great with the Boom Pro. So yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're looking for a pair of sub $100 open back headphones, these are not going to replace the SHP9500S, but they could, you know, fill the spot for the time being. And if I mean, honestly, they're better built than the SHP9500S. We'll call them the ships. The ships, they have a plastic headband and a metal slider. The slider doesn't like to find a defined position as well. I mean, it looks like a kindergarten ruler. They have big, like, athletic jersey pads. They're not as comfortable. I actually like the way that these fit much better, and they have a super cushy headband. And so yeah, physically I like the way that I think most of my adoration for these headphones are going to be physically. Sound, I don't mind listening to them at all. I would say decently picky. I'm not the pickiest person when it comes to sound, but the sound is, you know, it's good, and I enjoy listening to what I'm listening to. I can pick out different instruments, and you know, it's got adequate soundstage. It's got adequate imaging. It's above average in pretty much all categories of listening. I've listened to, you know, what are the $200, I think the Studio Beats. These sound better than that for sure. So if you're looking at something like that, maybe look at these. I mean, like, god damn, do they look good. What else? Yeah, so I know I talked a lot and rambled a lot, but if you're looking for good headphones and you don't have a lot of money, these are killer, and they look really good. They look like more expensive headphones. In fact, I do have a pair of Fidelio X2s here. So these are kind of like the baby brother X2s. You know, they're like, the X1s looked a little bit similar to this. Here are the X2s. As you can see, they have that fantastic metal grille. And these are, you know, they got a suspension headband and all that, but they're a little bit different. And I don't even think the X2s... Yeah, these are plastic. The X2s are plastic here. This ring is metal. And then the yokes are metal. But the X2s, you know, $300, you know, okay, $150 to $300 headphones, depending where you get them. These don't even have as much metal as these do. This whole ring is metal. This is metal. The yokes are metal. Everything is metal. Even this inside here is metal. God, these are amazing. Anyway, I'll stop talking about the build of these for a second at least. So yeah, if you have any other questions about these, I'm going to try to do some listening tests and some measurements on my mini DSP ears, which I don't know where they are. They're floating around somewhere. We're going to try to compare these to other headphones in sort of the same segment, like the HyperX Cloud 2, the Monoprice Modern Retros, Status Audio CB1s when I get those back. A lot of things are, of course, the SHP9500S, and a lot of those are sub $100 gaming headphones and budget performers, really. So I'm interested to see how these stack up, but the sound really hasn't wowed me, but it hasn't disappointed me necessarily either. So it'd be interesting to see how they compare to other headphones in the same sort of price segment. So if you have questions about these, shoot me a comment below. Hopefully we start to see more products like this that are well built. So if nothing else, hopefully headphone companies take something away from the stellar build of these guys. They're just so cool. But anyway, yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below, ask on Reddit, hit me up on Discord, and I look forward to talking to you guys about these. And this won't be the last piece of content I do about this, but I will see you guys in the next one.